Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And this is Sister Wives Season 19, Episode 2, Let There Be Light.
More Bible names for episodes. You see the theme here. It's continuing on. Good. Yeah, because that's not going to last.
Why not?
I don't think it keeps going for the whole season.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not? They have plenty of source material.
Well, they didn't read that far. I guess.
Why do you think they chose this specific one for this episode?
Let there be light. Are we shining light on Janelle's relationship with Cody, that she's been trying to keep all these details in the dark?
Oh, or that there's hope of her moving on to something new? I feel like we're really using it in a loose context.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. I feel like they just started pulling stuff from Bible verses and then, they just kind of gave up on it.
Let me tell you, we heard a lot of complaints about the first episode. Not our episode.
Well,
the episode of the show.
Yeah.
That it's going to be, it's slow. Why is it so slow?
It's Sister Wives, guys. You're watching the show is Sister Wives on TLC. That's usually how the seasons start out.
It's a slow pace. They always need to remind us of things that we already knew were happening.
Or that have happened and concluded 2 years ago.
Well, in this episode, we even get flashbacks to earlier in the same episode.
Which they are known for. Widely known for.
You guys got to get used to the editing pace. We are going to be here for a long time this season.
It's like watching The Walking Dead.
Where they just wandered around in the woods forever.
Oh, so that was season 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it is. It does feel like you're perpetually watching Walking Dead season 2 on AMC. But this is kind of a sort of let them cook moment that is happening for season 19 because they're going to be in the kitchen for quite some time.
Yes, this is going to be a very long season. So buckle up and just know that it's going to pay off eventually because we are supposed to get closer and closer to current day.
How long are you talking? We have blocked off the next 6 months on our calendars just to be safe.
All right. Well, you want to get right into it? What was the description?
Yeah, we've got the TLC description for this one is Janelle considers leaving Flagstaff for good as she and Maddie look at land in Montana. Cody learns that Meri is asking their church for a release, their religion's word for a divorce. Christine and Aspen throw Isabel a welcome home party.
I didn't realize that's what that was. I thought it was just a gathering at Aspen's house.
Yeah, it was a double duty thing because Maddie and Janelle were back from looking at land in Montana, even though they didn't really talk about it. And then it was a welcome home party for Isabel.
It is so fitting that they went and looked at the land in Montana this week because breaking news, Maddie and Janelle just dropped the information about Tater Farms. Is that how we say it?
Tater Farms?
Taeda Farms.
Oh, that's how you're going to say it. Okay.
Why? How would you say it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Is it Spanish like Cody's Spanish? Taida? Is that what it's going to be?
Bambina.
Is it Bambina Farms? I hope not.
No.
No, it's clearly not.
We'll talk more about that when we get into the announcements because I need to read our episode, my description.
Yes.
I'm excited about it.
Let's hear it.
Janelle searches for a new headquarters for her grow-up. Robyn reveals herself as the Warren Buffett of household budgeting. Meri seeks the release that's been building for a decade.
Oh, mama. Yeah. And I'm not coming.
Quite literally. So announcements. Let's just go right back to talking about this farm. You can check it out on Instagram. They've got a whole website. They're even selling t-shirts. They set up a Shopify. They're working at a faster pace than we are.
Well, we're trying. Are they remitting their own taxes? I have questions.
You have no idea how complicated it is to set up a merch store.
Shopify ain't easy. All right, look, we're doing our best with our Etsy shop. And there's only been one thing that's been pulled down, and it was our logo.
Yes, you cannot buy a shirt that says Surviving Sister Wives on it.
So if you were able to get your order in and you bought that shirt, hold on to it for dear life because that is a collector's item now. You are breathing rare air when it comes to the podcast merch.
We're working on fixing it, though. I want you guys to know that because we have some creative solutions.
They are in the works. We'll see what we're able to post in the coming weeks.
I'm very excited about it. That's
I'm really excited. Yeah.
Well, the farm, should we be as excited? We got to explain what this is. It's a flower farm. I think we all kind of maybe knew that. This was the property in North Carolina that they bought Maddie and Janelle and Caleb together. And everyone thought, oh, Janelle's got a house. No, she's got a flower farm.
She's got to grow up.
And that's what she's doing here. Actually, on their website, Janelle is listed as flower smeller, grass grower.
Grass grower. What kind of grass?
She is so leaning into the
Is
fact
it
that
funny?
people have started this rumor about her.
Yeah, and what flower? Yeah, flower. Some kind bud flower. Got some
We
good
could
flower.
only hope. It sounds like they're going to try to have events and it's going to be a place where the community can gather. And that's the vision that they have for this, in addition to growing flowers and I guess whatever they will do with them.
Well, probably you make deals with local florists and then you become kind of a local supplier for flowers in the area.
And like a pick your own farm where kids can come and cut flowers. I'm guessing that's the direction they're going. I don't know if they figured it out. You can follow along on their journey through social media.
There you go. There's a lot to learn when it comes to setting up a business. Don't we know it?
Oh my God, that was not even the biggest thing that happened since the last episode. We just recorded an entire Patreon only episode where we consulted a Utah family law attorney on Christine filing for child support and custody of Truly last week.
There was some legal action in the Sister Wives universe. So yeah, be sure to swing on over to patreon.com/survivingpod. Check out that episode for more details on what we were able to scrounge up with the collective questions that were popping up on our Discord channels and on our Patreon.
What else? We talked about the merch shop. We just dropped a new t-shirt. No, thank you, Daddy.
Kind of in honor of the legal action that was taking place with...
That was a total coincidence.
It was. We already had that set up. It just worked out very nicely. Sometimes things just click.
Thank you, Truly Grace Brown.
But no thank you, Daddy. Yeah, that is available now.
And if you want to get to the merch shop, all you have to do is click it below in the show notes. Show notes. There's a link, a Beacons link, and it takes you to the merch store on Etsy.
Surviving Pod Shop,
Yeah.
if you want to search for it the good old-fashioned way.
What else? We have another podcast, which we hope you will subscribe to, called Surviving Reality. And we just started recapping Real Housewives of Salt Lake City over there. Those episodes drop on Friday mornings. We are also finishing out the season of Welcome to Plathville. You can listen to those episodes every Wednesday morning. That means you can listen to Sister Wives here on Monday. You can listen to Welcome to Plathville on Wednesday. And you can get Real Housewives of Salt Lake City on Friday.
And then if you're a member of the Patreon, you get them ad-free and early. So it's always the night before they come out on the public feed if you want to check it out over there too.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
So shall we get into this episode?
Yes, we have quite the episode recap to kind of delve into here a little bit. We're starting off with Janelle and Maddie. They're going to go up to Montana to look at land.
Like, spoiler alert. They didn't buy land in Montana. They bought land in North Carolina. But they're looking for a place that they can move Janelle to and that they could set up a small farm, just a couple of animals, maybe a greenhouse or two.
A greenhouse, a grow house.
The grow house.
A grow op.
She has learned to use the word greenhouse when she's filming.
How green? Very green for Janelle. Why is she referring to this as it's just a little bit outside of Salt Lake area? It's 5 hours away.
Their perception of a close drive is completely skewed because they have to go so far to see each other.
Granted, they did just drive Isabel back.
That's true. From North Carolina
to Salt Lake City. So that was a 3-day drive.
Yeah. So in comparison to 36 hours, I think the 5 hours feels like, oh, it's just up the road.
Yeah. That's just like running into town real quick.
She's realizing, though, that Coyote Pass is basically a pipe dream at this point. So she's looking for other options.
And it's a tangled web of just custody issues and mess. It is all over the place here.
Custody of the property.
Custody of the property
Not
is
the
what's
children.
happening. Yeah, not the children. We don't care about the kids. Whoa.
She's got no more kids that she could sue Cody for child support.
Right.
That's unfortunate for her.
So that's where we're going the routes that we have available to us. Christine is able to go this custody route because she already gave up her rights to Coyote Pass. So that ship has sailed.
She was so smart getting out of this. She had that house. She took Cody's name off of it before Isabel had the surgery. She sold that thing. She said, I don't want the property. I'm just taking that money. And she left clean.
It was the best move she's ever made financially.
It's not the same situation for Janelle and Meri, though.
No, and they know that they're in a mess now because Janelle's name is on what, two pieces of the property? Cody's name is on everything.
Yes.
And then Cody and Robyn are on two that
No,
they have
they're
just
on all
themselves.
of them now.
Oh, Cody and Robyn are on all of them.
I
Okay.
believe. I think
Meri,
just because she is his legal spouse.
right. And Meri barely squeaked in there. She's got one that she's got claim to. One of the 4-acre lots that she's
That's the
holding
one,
on to.
but it's him, it's Cody, Meri, and Janelle on that lot.
Right.
So really, it is a fight where the two of them need to team up because they're two of the three people on that lot.
Correct.
Because remember, the lots were never divided. For the many, many, many episodes that we talked about how they would hypothetically split up the property, that's never happened. And now we're seeing the actual ownership on each of them.
The different various arrangements that they drafted up and have shown us the schematics over the past few seasons, it's all just made up in everybody's heads because nobody's actually paid off the land and nobody's able to rezone anything until the land is paid off.
Doesn't that suck though? Because even though your idea was to have this collective property for everybody, whatever your name originally went on is all that you legally have a right to.
Yeah, especially if you're in the process of leaving the family here in this way and separating from that. That's the only thing that you're going to have that ties you back to this in any way, shape, and form. Because then that's what Christine's trying to get the scoop. Janelle's not giving anything up here.
Christine was insufferable this episode, and I feel like it's because the producers told her, Janelle doesn't tell us shit in those interviews. So we need you to go in there and ask questions. And when Christine starts acting, she turns into McKelty.
It's very McKelty moments. Very much so.
Yeah, it was hard to watch, and I understand why Janelle was annoyed. But the big question now is like, are they going to pay off the property? Because if they don't pay off the note that's on Coyote Pass, the owner could take it back. And Cody is not talking to Janelle about it anymore.
Well, and everybody's confused. Nobody knows what anyone's intentions are with the land anymore. The timelines are all messed up. The communication has completely broken down. You think these people want to be neighbors with each other still? Some do.
Robyn is Delulu. She's like, I would be a neighbor to all of them, including Christine.
I am great at neighboring.
Last episode, she didn't even want to say hello to her.
Yeah, she didn't communicate at all when she was in the same room. And then we're going to have McKelty giving birth in the next episode. I'm sure we're going to get a nice glimpse into what that neighbor situation would look like on Coyote Pass.
It's comical at this point. Robyn is the idiot. Every single episode, so this is, I'm exaggerating, we're on episode 2.
Well,
it's felt
still,
like a lifetime.
That's true. That's an accurate statement. It has been every single episode this season. It's been 2 for 2.
And we still haven't gotten to the line that was in the trailer.
The idiot that got left behind.
So she's going to call herself an idiot multiple times throughout the season.
It's not a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point, right? If you're just already...
Is there some self-realization happening
Maybe it's
here?
self-realization. That's what it is. Yeah, because the prophecy, that was already there and been established.
So we're here with Maddie and Janelle in the car driving up to Montana to look at this property. And Janelle is telling Maddie about everything that's going on. This is the Brown family gossip mill in action.
Yeah.
Maddie's face when Janelle's talking about how they could lose the property back to the owner if they don't pay it off. And then where she just is like, I don't know, like, is he that stupid? I don't think your dad is, that he would just lose the property.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Maddie was all of us with all the faces she was making.
She knew. Be careful tugging at that thread, Janelle. How stupid is Cody?
Is it stupidity though, or is it vindictiveness?
Would he? Yeah, I feel like he would just let it go back to the seller just to spite everyone. Because I think what he's doing right now is he's keeping all of the information enclosed with whatever he has. And he's not telling Janelle, he's not telling Meri what's going on with the land because he hopes that they'll just leave him alone and just forget about all of this land that they have claim to legally.
He thinks they're going to get amnesia.
Yeah, he just wants them to be like, it's not even worth it. It's not worth the effort or the struggle. I'm just getting stressed out thinking about it.
It's not. I think that's where Meri's at. Meri's like cutting her losses.
Very much so.
She doesn't care. She doesn't want to talk to this man ever again.
And that's what Cody's hoping to get from Janelle. He's trying to ice her out of all of this stuff, not keep her in the know, stress her out, and then have her just throw her hands up in frustration and say, forget it, you keep it. Like what he did with Christine. He didn't really have to do too much. Christine just made the wise decision to say, why don't you hang on to that? And I'll just take the money from my house.
He thought he was really winning there, though.
Yeah, it felt like a win because then he got more land. It was him and Robyn got a new plot to play with.
I feel like he's going to wait until the day before the note is due to go pay it off.
I'm pretty sure that's what happens based on bank records and
And with the whole point being, I don't know that he didn't have the money necessarily. He just wanted Janelle to live in this unknown land of, is it going to get paid off? Is it not going to get paid off?
he wanted her to feel what it feels like to live at Robyn's house, paycheck to paycheck.
I thought you were going to say to be Meri. Well, he feels like that's him this episode, right? Where
Yes.
he doesn't know what's happening.
He is Meri. And then Meri has to point out that
He
irony.
is Meri.
Yes.
That's an important statement. He has always been
Always.
Meri.
It's always been there,
He
bro.
hates that woman because he sees something in her that's very familiar.
Yeah, it's looking in a mirror, and he doesn't like doing that.
What is Janelle going to do, though? That's the whole kind of conversation they're having in the car because they're going to go look at this land in Montana. It didn't really feel to me like she was necessarily totally committed to doing this, that she was kind of toying with the idea of what would this be like if I bought property with Maddie and Caleb. But they have another solution. What if Maddie and Caleb financed the part of the property that still needs to be paid off? So they just buy it from Cody, basically.
So they're working solutions here. They're getting stuff involved. They're getting pieces, parts moving around here. The main thing that they want to make note of, though, is they got to make sure that Meri gets her cut. Because Meri, man, she's been through it.
I am calling bullshit on this. When Janelle tried to say that she's just looking out for Meri because Meri's been treated so badly, we just came off the heels of finishing our rewatch of season 13. And let me tell you, Janelle was one of the worst wives to Meri during the purchase of the B&B, questioning her motives, not wanting to give her money, wanting the family's cut of whatever she was making off of the inn.
Which we had to have Janelle explain to us that Meri has her B&B, but that's her business. That
She did that on her own.
She did that on her own with her own money.
We recall.
We know, Janelle.
What would you do if you were, wow, I just almost, what would you do if your son was that?
Careful.
It just started.
Uh-huh.
So what would you do if you were Maddie and Caleb and you bought that property on Flagstaff, not Montana? Who
Yeah,
gives
you
a
end
fuck
up with
about that?
you end up with 4 acres of Coyote Pass in the middle.
Because they're saying they would then turn around and sell it. But
To whom would you
Is
be
it-
selling?
is
Prairie
it
Dog
that
Plague Land.
easy?
Yeah, I don't think they're treating it like Monopoly, where it's just, hey, I have this piece of land. Does anyone want to build a house or an apartment on this? You can't. You can't build a hotel on this one, mostly because it's mortgaged. But the main reasoning, yeah, the zoning, all the different issues. Again, plague is just a really big concern. I think it should be higher up on the list than most people in this show are willing to assess the threat here. But if we're talking about extra lots, yeah, because I mean, Maddie and Caleb, if they buy it, they're going to sell it. Great. I don't think if you saying that on camera, if Cody finds that out, I don't think that's going to make him more receptive to your offer.
I think I'd release a bunch of exotic animals.
You'd go chimp crazy on Coyote
I'd
Pass.
go chimp crazy. Yeah, I mean, maybe not a chimp. Maybe some type of, maybe a rodent or an insect that will not leave that area.
Okay, you bring out rodents to Coyote Pass, they're going to get plague.
That's true.
You were going to spread bubonic plague to people, is what you're trying to do, Carly.
I'm trying to keep it isolated. Well, we know Robyn spends a lot of time on the bench. Maybe we could focus in that area.
You're just trying to get her infected with
I'm
plague?
trying to make the land unlivable.
Oh, okay. It's already unlivable in a lot of ways. I don't think we need to put any work in on that front.
No, they should have just built the storage unit.
Yeah. If we're talking about plots of land, though, and who's responsible for what, Cody and Robyn have already ended up with an extra plot of land. It's called the She-Ra Chateau.
So that property also has a lot next to it. Just saying. So there's the house and the lot. They have a lot of land in Flagstaff at this point.
And it's all right in this same little valley here because you can see Coyote Pass and that mountain from the deck of the She-Ra Chateau.
Oh, yeah, this is where they started talking about the house, which since it's for sale, very interesting that the whole point of buying this house, though, was so that it could be a family asset, not just Robin's, right? I mean, Robin lives in it and has lived in it for a number of years.
She seems to be the only one reaping the benefits currently, I would argue. So when we're talking about this being a huge asset for the family, I'm not seeing it.
They never even really used it for anything. They had, what, one Christmas there?
Barely.
It was the COVID Christmas where they were all forced to take tests before they showed up.
And even that was kind of hit and miss a little bit.
They had baby Ariella's birthday.
The super spreader event that ended all family events.
It just doesn't seem like that makes a lot of sense. I think when they first bought it, they were saying that they could eventually use it as a rental for other people and they would make income off of it by having it be a rental.
That was the long-term plan, yes. But if we're not at that point,
Well,
if we're never going to build,
spending your money on knickknacks and artwork so that you can't pay off Coyote Pass and you can't build on it,
you're never going to get there.
yeah,
It's
you're
never
never going
gonna
to move
happen.
out.
Never, ever, ever. And so that's what Janelle's saying. That's not fair. And let's just keep it fair. Everybody just needs to get what they're owed, and then we can part ways amicably and call it a day. And this is where Robyn can't even fathom. How would you calculate what is owed to each individual wife in this sort of polygamist family structure? She's been reaching into all the other cookie jars. So how are you going to keep track of this? The queen of pluses and minuses, the paragon of independent business, Robyn Brown.
I'm good at business.
She is great at business.
This reminded me of, who was it with Caesar on 90 Day Fiancé? Somebody's screaming, I am not accountant. That was what this moment was.
Very much so.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you how much money they've given me over the years or I have given to them. It's all just mixed together and now we can never get it all separated again.
That's the thing. Yeah, you make the system complicated enough where people don't even want to unravel all of this. And Janelle's like, I have kept track. So I already know what I'm owed.
Maybe they could just start with how much did they make off of the houses in Vegas? Because it seems like whatever they made got spent.
Oh, immediately it was dumped into Robyn's house. That's what Janelle's saying. That was family pot money that went into Robyn's home.
So then it seems like you owe her a couple $100,000.
Give or take. And then whatever she has for the land. Yeah, on Coyote Pass too. In addition to what has been invested into her home.
How about her 401k? Remember when they used that to open my sister wives' closet?
I think Janelle has a long running list for you to review of what you owe.
They start disagreeing about how the finances have worked. So we've always heard that they had the family pot.
Which basically just ends up being like the briefcase at the end of Dumb and Dumber, which is just full of IOU Post-it notes and napkins.
That's what's left in there now.
See that? That's Victoria's Secret credit card. 31 thou. Might want to hold on to that one.
Things really changed. It used to work that they would all just have each other's backs. Someone needed some money, then you'd help someone else out later. That all seemed to change, though, after Robyn came into the family, because a few years later, there was this focus on establishing an estate.
Estates.
That's why they're buying this artwork.
I get the feeling.
Robyn read a book on how to become wealthy.
What to expect when you're expecting wealth?
Yes, because she's manifesting.
She's always manifesting.
So she is always expecting a check to show up.
Yes. So what do you need to know?
Apparently invest in artwork that nobody wants to repurchase.
Buy assets that you consider assets that are going to be very difficult to resell.
I'm telling you, this is going to end with an arson case.
Oh,
because
no.
there's no way they're going to get their money back for those things.
Yeah.
That may be the easiest route.
Yeah, home insurance fraud angle here. Yeah, we got to keep an eye out. But here, look, we already made the joke about the Victoria's Secret debt. We know Robyn used to be bad with finances. Used to be.
Oh my God. The way I cackled at this part of the episode where she tried to claim that the reason she had all these things in her house, because Janelle's saying she said it out loud on TV to us. She sees the artwork in their house.
We do too.
We've all been questioning it.
Oh, yeah.
She would see when she would go to Robyn's house that there was always new stuff and more things piling up. So she knew that money was being spent. And Robyn's response to that is that when she was a single mother for 6 months, she really learned how to budget her money. And so if you don't have the nice things that she has, it's probably because you just have different priorities and aren't as good at budgeting your money.
Yeah, I think the main thing was that she was able to assimilate Cody's money into her money.
She denies it. She
That's where it
denies
really
that that
helped.
happened.
Oh, it helped though. No, but all the other wives confirmed. Yeah. That's
Christine
how, well,
confirmed.
Christine confirmed because Janelle's like, I don't know what the hell's going on over at their house. I
Also,
don't care.
why not? I would want to know every
You would have to
detail.
know.
So then, yeah, Robin's money's going further if she's splitting all of her bills with Cody.
But instead, Robin's advice here is budget better, save your grocery money part 2, or just stop buying avocado toast, sister wives.
Stop buying avocado toast.
Is that
And
it?
you too could live in a mansion like I do.
Well, if you're lucky, maybe.
Yeah, this is reminding me of when Robin went on that trip to Hawaii with her kids and Cody, and she claimed that it was from saving her grocery money. No one believes it.
It was saving her and Cody's grocery money, and Cody doesn't spend money on groceries.
He was trying to claim that he spends his money on cars for the kids and insurance for cars. So just cars.
Well, and then he was doing some basic car maintenance in B-roll later on this
All
episode.
cars.
It's all cars. That's what he's got this season. He's going the Ethan Plath route, where he is now a family mechanic.
He can't even think of an excuse to say where his money went aside from buying the kids' cars.
And that battery that you're putting in there, that's only a couple $100. So keep going, because I think we got a couple more missing dollars. There's some bigger minuses that are floating around here.
All this information is news to Maddie because she has not been talking to Cody.
Well, and she's getting pissed. She's very upset, like a lot of Janelle's older children who are finding more and more things out where this is really messed up, how this relationship is. I think you got, Mom.
It does seem that way.
So maybe we should take some steps and try to better your situation because everything is just funneling to Robyn and Cody.
Maddie did talk about the fact that she doesn't have a relationship with Cody and Robyn anymore on a podcast. And essentially, it was kind of the same thing we heard in this episode, which is that she's trying to protect her kids. She doesn't want Cody coming in and out of their lives, which, okay, but that's kind of also the way he was in your life, which maybe seeing that now as a parent to your own children is disturbing.
Well, yeah.
But why would he have a different expectation when that was what was acceptable in plural marriage?
So here's the thing. Maddie made that clear and said, hey, I don't want it to be like this. This is how I would want it to be. And then Cody and Robyn are like, yeah, we're not doing that. And so if you're setting a
Did they?
boundary,
I think they just didn't, the phone goes both ways.
well, what it ended up being was, so I think, well, like Maddie had set, this is my expectation. This is how we can have a successful relationship moving
Corey,
forward.
what is that called?
It's setting boundaries.
Oh, it's a boundary.
Yeah, this is setting a boundary where
Mhm.
if this isn't going to happen, then I don't think that that's going to be good. We aren't going to pursue this. So, like, having that set up, if a boundary's not being respected in that way, then it kind of just happens where then you cut those people out of your life because they're not respecting you.
I kind of think that Janelle added a little flourish of her own to that explanation where it was he can't be coming and going and being dramatic.
Dramatic. I liked that she threw that in there. It's just a passing thought of, just these other reasons why Cody's unbearable to be around.
Oh my God. Well, his, of course, point of view on this is that Maddie stopped talking to him. It wasn't that he stopped talking to Maddie.
Yeah, he didn't cut her off. She cut him off. But then he also goes on to say that's why he stopped talking to her because every time she called, she was fishing for gossip and information to run through the family rumor mill. Those are two opposite things. You said that you didn't cut her off, but then also you cut her off.
Right.
That's why you stopped talking.
Also, I have a feeling that Cody is so paranoid that when someone calls and just asking basic questions about what's going on with your life, he was interpreting that as people digging for information that they could then turn around and go tell someone else.
You're asking because Christine wants to know, and I'm not going to tell you because then you're going to go tell Christine.
Whatever. Things are better without him, Maddie. That's definitely for sure. We get to Montana. I have a lot of questions because this is a very isolated property. It's 40 acres.
40. I can't even comprehend what 40 acres looks like in my head.
Didn't they have like, what was it, 12 acres on Coyote Pass that they keep trying to divide that Meri gets two of? Because that's math.
2244. So I think it's 12.
12? Okay.
Yeah, because 2244.
What did I just say? 12 or 4? I don't know what I just
Something.
said. Either way, it's a lot more, which I'm sure would piss Cody off that she got more land than he did.
I hope that there just isn't any prairie dog plague here because it seems like brown family children all just immediately dive into the dirt.
Why? I know we don't have children. I don't know. Is this something that just happens?
I'm
Do kids just
sure.
fall to the ground and roll themselves in dirt?
Wherever there is dirt, there will also be a child. I would assume.
They're just rubbing their hands in it. They're rolling in it. They're very excited about the prospect. of
Has it
being
been
in the
tested?
dirt.
Yeah, but has it been tested for prairie dog plague too? Maybe we should double check. I would like to own land that does not have plague on it.
Why does Maddie and Caleb want to move to this type of desolate location? It would take them, what did she say, 40 minutes to drive the kids to school and then 40 minutes to drive them back at the end of the day? Is Caleb
They're
maybe
about the rural lifestyle, though.
running from the law?
Oh, you think they're on to him in North
There's a
Carolina?
lot of teenage girls who have lived in that house. That's all
Oh
I'm saying.
boy,
Bad joke?
that was inappropriate, Carly. Unforgivable.
Whatever. It does seem strange that they want to move to some place that's very, very isolated and far from town. Also, not a great business move for Janelle.
No, I think it's more in the mindset of what can we do to help Janelle accomplish this dream where it does not take place on Coyote Pass. Please get out of this situation with these other people.
You think they're just looking for cheap pieces of land so that
Yeah.
they could give her new dream?
Oh, yeah. Because Janelle's dream, that's why she's still hanging on to Coyote Pass for a little bit. But I don't think she realizes that there's way better land out there that you can get in different states, probably more affordable with less rules and restrictions and significantly less plague.
Oh, then Coyote Pass.
Yes, very much so.
What about Montana? What was the draw there? I know that Maddie and Caleb wanted to live there at one point.
I think they did for a
Did
little
they
while
live
when
in
they
Montana
were
or
when they
was
were
it
engaged.
Wyoming?
Yeah, when they were engaged, I think they were in Montana.
Because isn't that where Caleb was?
Yes, I think so.
So I guess it's like coming back to where they originally started, even though one of the reasons they didn't want to move to Flagstaff was because the lack of career opportunities, which I don't know if living 40 minutes from town in Montana is really going to be much better.
I don't know how many elevators there are for Caleb to work on.
That's a big question. Maybe they'll just build a tall building with an elevator in it. No, I don't know what the point of that would be.
Yeah.
For the grow up, so that she can
Okay.
have multiple floors.
Yeah, because
Janelle.
it's all got to stay indoors.
A vertical farm, if you will.
Hydroponic.
She does not know. I don't think she's looked into it. You can only own 2 cannabis plants.
In Montana. So I think that was right out the window. Then, yeah, we're kind of wasting time just being here.
Not enough scale. She's also got to go really far to get into town to find her people to sell to, her customers. Not going to work.
It's not going to work. We do get to reminisce a little bit here where Cody's got the good old days top of mind here with Maddie and Caleb when they lived together in the cul-de-sac in Vegas. Those were the best years of his life.
Literally the point where he said, let's move to Flagstaff. We need to get out of here because Vegas is the worst place ever.
Well, no, technically, because he was saying specifically when Maddie and Caleb lived in the house with Janelle. So when they were moving to Flagstaff, it was because Maddie and Caleb moved to their own house a block away from them. So then that became the worst times of his life, maybe? I'm not sure where that distinction came through. I'm making a lot of assumptions here as we go.
He did talk about Caleb being family in the past tense. I think that was the hardest thing that maybe that's what broke him.
I think so.
It had to play a big part of it. Now we kind of understand why he's up, McKelty and Tony's ass.
Well, at least during
Asses, plural.
S's. Yeah, I don't think they share an ass.
No.
Well, I can't be too sure.
So love that his family leadership is the thing that destroyed the best thing that ever happened to them.
Right. Yeah, because then we're trying to assign other things, obviously COVID, but I would say the move to Flagstaff really didn't help.
But Cody's the one who is angry still about how he was treated. You have to listen to his language in these first 2 episodes. Everything is about him.
Everything is how he was treated. He was wronged. He's hoping that there can be some reconciliation and love because he's withholding all of that until they come and make things right with him.
Which is not going to happen.
No.
No. He's still convinced that the other wives are lying to the children and that the things that they have said are the reasons that the kids are mad at him. But it seems like they have a lengthy list of their own of reasons that they're upset from their childhood, things that they witnessed firsthand that they're unhappy about. So we'll let Cody live in his own reality.
Yeah, it's just the level of delusion that's required to be in that part of reality is very confusing.
Shall we go to Mitch and Aspen's house in Salt Lake City?
Yeah, so everyone is back in town here because, yeah, it was Janelle and Maddie were up in Montana. Isabel is back home, moving home from North Carolina. So we got some food, some family, some fun.
I gotta tell you, after watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, the only thing that I expect as an intro when we get to Salt Lake City is a swig. We need to see swig. We need to see sodas being poured.
More swig. But yeah, when we do see the cutaways to Salt Lake City now,
Can they
that
start
is-
dancing in between?
it's
Can
what
we
I
get
think.
mom talk
Mom talk?
dances in the matching
Sister wives talk?
sweats?
I hope not. Yeah, I would prefer not. Let's keep it as is. We don't need to make that change.
I would love it. I don't know. They're at Aspen and Mitch's house, and I cannot get over how dark it is in this kitchen.
It is very dark. There's not a lot of natural light. It's a very low ceiling.
I gotta tell you guys, you gotta move. First of all, it's a nightmare to film in here. They had to take in floor lamps that must have come from other rooms because it would be pitch black if they hadn't done that.
The crew in general, they were like, I got nothing.
Can you see what you're eating? It's like being in an Outback Steakhouse.
Oh no.
You cannot see. Was the meat cooked?
I'm sure it was. I trust Mitch on the grill.
It was a little rare. I
Rare?
saw a piece on Peyton's plate.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like he may have requested it that way though.
Yeah, I feel like Peyton requests it bloody.
Oh my god. Why was he in this episode?
Because somebody said his name 3 times and he showed up.
They included, we didn't need to see him regale the family with the story of his new job. We had him do that across the internet when it happened.
We experienced it almost in real time, closer to real time than the show was ever able to provide. That was the John Yates interview, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, he did a lot of interviews and things where he was hopping on lives and bragging about this.
Well, he did a lot of talking just in that general time period, too.
It's almost like Cody hasn't left them.
Yeah, but since Peyton has showed up here, he has to be the center of attention. Yeah, it is like Cody's here. So he's announcing his new job at a gentleman's club. Haha, it's so funny because who would ever think? He really needs to come up with something with higher shock value. I get that for the most church-going, family-friendly people that he's used to being around, this is like otherworldly news for them. But for me, I'm a heathen. It's going to take more to shock me.
Shocking Utah Mormons with this information.
Yeah, like that's not sensational enough for me to care.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. A couple episodes, we hear about McKelty eating her own placenta. Like, girl, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. I have seen multiple women eat their placenta on reality TV at this point.
Nothing special about it.
Not unique.
No, nothing special about it. So Aspen is confused because she's not really sure what he's meaning at this point, though. So that was the point of confusion.
Okay. I loved that she was confused about if he was a stripper.
Are you dancing? Do we have a Pink Pony Club situation taking place here?
That's her first assumption. Because that would make it more interesting.
That would be enough to push it over the edge.
See, she ruined the story.
Yeah.
Because he's just a bouncer.
No, so now we dial it down another notch and it's boring again. Because he's just a bouncer.
She is so tickled by this. I loved when she was telling Mitch that, well, first of all, they all want to go see him at the club, which I guess you could just walk by the outside. Like,
Well, yeah,
is
if
he
he's
at the
checking
door
IDs,
checking IDs?
Yeah, if he's checking IDs, I think he'd probably run into him pretty quick.
We're kind of overstating the level of importance here. Like they must have hired him. He's very tall. They were like, that's intimidating.
Yeah, that
And
works.
he's annoying. He'll talk to people in line forever.
Oh, yeah.
That's how he got this job.
That was it.
So Aspen's like, whatever they will do there, Mitch, I will do it at home for you.
Yeah, she's got channeling her own inner freaky bitch. You don't need to go, Mitch.
Oh my God, I laughed.
You got all that waiting at home.
Christine hit us with an iconic quote, which I hope was purposely mocking Robyn.
I feel like it was. It's too close.
This is not the Utah I grew up in.
This is not the Utah Christine grew up learning about in school.
Oh, I laugh so hard.
But she loves it, and we love it.
I guess the whole point of the segment was just to show us that Christine and Janelle have this functioning family unit together, that they all get together, they have a good time, they laugh. It's kind of like old times. It's not all depressing like over at Cody and Robyn's house.
Well, and even the considerations that they're putting into moving to Montana, it's 5 hours away from Salt Lake, so that's still pretty close, reasonable drive for holidays and visits and things like that.
Just
Right
a
down the
cool
road.
5 hours.
Yeah, just right down the road.
You know what? Meri did that back and forth to the B&B when they moved to Flagstaff.
She sure did.
So 5 hours is nothing for these people.
You just slam a 5-hour energy and you're there.
It is time to head to Flagstaff.
So Christine is here because she's, again, trying with all of her might to get the scoop from Janelle. What tidbit of information can you give me?
Is she moving? Is she divorced?
Are you building on Coyote Pass? Are you still with Cody? Are you not?
This part of the episode got a little bit repetitive because we already saw what she was talking about in the car, but now it's time to tell Christine.
Yeah, it was a reiteration of a rehashing of the conversation with Maddie in the car, but with some other stuff sprinkled in here a little bit.
She's not really sure that Flagstaff is going to work for her. I do like that she left Christine at the edge of her seat first, though, by saying how much she loves it there. And you saw the fear
Oh, yeah.
come across her face. She was
Very
like, oh my
much.
God, no, she's going to stay here.
Well, she wasn't sure about, do you love Cody? Is that how is the sentence going to end? What are we loving here?
Yeah, I do love that every time that Christine talks to Janelle, she thinks that that's how the conversation is going to end, that she is working on repairing things with Cody.
So there's always the risk of that for Christine, and she's very worried about it.
This is where we talk a little bit about attorneys, though. So this may be the first suit. Well, I guess we would know about it by now. So
Yeah, it's
maybe
not.
this one's coming up next. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's time to lawyer up. Forget Worthy up.
she's looking into it. Janelle's starting to think like Cody won't talk to her about the land anymore, even though she legally has a right to know what's going on because her name is on the property, but he won't talk to her because of the gossip mill. So she's thinking she's got to get lawyers involved because how else are they going to hash this out? It's clearly not going to be easy to do this amongst themselves.
So with all this lawyer talk, Christine begins her cross-examination of Janelle because, all right, well, are things over with Cody? Yeah, pretty much. Okay, well, does he know that? Not really. It hasn't been fully established because it still hasn't sunk in. It's pretty thick up top there.
Christine is really slow to understand what's going on here, which again felt very McKelty like. That obviously Janelle doesn't want to say the words, it's over, because she wants the property.
But that's what Christine needed to hear. She needs to hear Janelle say it's over because that was the goal.
She blew the whole facade by saying
Right.
it on TV.
You cannot do that. You need to listen to and then glean the subtext of what is being discussed. And Christine is not a professional when it comes to subtle nuance.
No. Also, I think it's funny that Janelle has not told him it's over because he's kind of being left in the same place that he left Meri for many, many years. And Meri also finds that comical.
Meri had to point out that connection, which we made. We pointed that out too. We thought it was very ironic.
Poetic almost. That
Yes.
he's saying the same things, that it wasn't clear. There's no communication. I'm not sure where we stand. That's how Meri felt for a very long time. So I don't know. Janelle could let this go for, I don't know, a decade.
You really milk it if you need to. I mean, you're not wrong. This is where we're finding out that the other thing that's kind of tying Janelle to this still is that she still has her faith. And Christine's got the look where it's the Mama Plath talking to Lydia, where it's like, oh,
You still believe in that?
you're still doing that? That whole thing?
Christine seems to have like no memory of the fact that she ever used to be part of this religion.
Yeah, because she was really, when she was in it, man.
Yeah, she had zero factor in her leaving Cody. So she cannot even fathom the fact that Janelle seems to be struggling with, do I go get a release? What does this mean for me? What does it mean for our faith? Also the property, mainly the property, a lot of things about money that I need to leave with some money. Maybe if we're on better terms than you were when you left, I might leave with something.
Yeah, because then you kind of gave up your asset claim there and you just left with what else you had with the house.
If
But
she didn't have just her name on that house, it would have been a fight.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
And we know Janelle doesn't have anything.
She's got the RV, and at this point it's
Does
probably
she?
it's probably a liability more than anything. Cody's hot take on the whole situation, not to be disparaging about their religion, but he's not interested in any of their bullshit.
Was that at this bar or was it when he was talking about Meri?
He
I
was talking about it a couple of times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I love that he's not willing to be disparaging, but then he will immediately go into talk shit
Well,
about.
he's calling them or their processes or whatever they believe in bullshit.
Well, I think that was the difference. Yeah, he kept referring to it as bullshit here, and then later on with Meri, he was talking about how he didn't want to. He was having an issue with submitting to their authority, the religious leaders in their church.
Ironic, since some of your wives left you because you wanted them to submit to your authority.
Right. Yeah, because then we get talking about patriarchy again, and that becomes a hot button issue because that's not what Janelle signed up for. But Cody didn't mean that when he was talking about it. He was saying that from a wounded place. So he was just kind of, doing his usual thing where he just talks out of his ass.
He talked about it multiple times. It wasn't just in that conversation because then he kept holding Robyn up as this pariah of loyalty and obedience and her children.
And she's the best wife that he's ever had.
The best of the
The
best.
best of the best because she does those things. Even though the look on Robyn's face when he started throwing around the patriarchy stuff at Christine's divorce announcement conversation, Robyn's like, uh-oh, he's off prompter again.
He's saying things that I can't keep him from saying.
These are not approved talking tracks, Cody, that we discussed on our way over here.
Should we move on to Meri and her seeking a release from the church?
Any sort of release, really, for Meri at this point, because it's long overdue.
I do like that she's going to make sure that if Cody didn't want to spend time with her, he's not going to be with her in eternity.
Please don't. Yeah, I need to sever this connection before anything permanent takes place.
Also, I think she knows that he does not like the authority of the church leaders. So this is a big fuck you to him.
This is going to be something terrible for Cody to have to deal with on a regular basis that he's not going to look forward to. So, yeah, let's go ahead and put him through that process. Put him through the ringer.
We don't really get an explanation as to what he's mad at the church leaders about, but it seems to be the fact that in plural marriage, or at least in the AUB, a man can't request a divorce. And if he had just been able to do that, he could have gotten rid of Meri a long time ago.
Which confirmed our suspicions because that was Cody's whole move, was that he didn't really like Meri being around the last 10 years. So he was just making her suffer, hoping that she would leave on her own accord.
I could not believe he actually said the words. And then he was like, she just wasn't picking up the hint.
She wasn't getting that memo.
Wasn't my fault. I was making it very clear that I was trying to ghost her.
I was making life virtually unbearable for her to be with me, and she still wouldn't leave.
This is where I get annoyed with Cody because he seems to think that it's not his fault that things turned out this way because he was just following what he was supposed to do per their faith.
Because that's where, we get the whole original backstory too, which confirms yet another theory that we had where Cody married Meri. He didn't know her very well.
Well, that's what happens when you marry somebody after a few weeks.
Of course. And when you're that young too. So it just confirms that Cody didn't really like Meri when they first got married, but no, he couldn't divorce her. So what was his only alternative? Add more wives. Just keep adding wives until things level out. Because then what happened was the hatred that Meri and Cody had for each other, that kind of shifted. Then it was Meri and Janelle who hated each other. So he had to add Christine into the mix to kind of smooth things over again.
I'm just kind of questioning, like, are you not allowed to tell someone that you don't want to have a relationship with them anymore? I know he said things to her like, we aren't going to have a marriage relationship. That was like in recent years, though. I just feel like you remove the choice from the person, from Meri, if you weren't being real with her about what the situation was. And for a long time, he would tell her that they were going to work on things, or he would have a good day where maybe he was feeling a little hopeful that things could change. And she would listen to what he said because he never talked to her. and he shows up and he tells her we can work on things. And that's what she thought was going on.
Or he was curious. He was inquisitive. He was wanting to get to know her. Do you like corn?
Do you think that was him
Deep,
trying
heartfelt.
to get to know Meri?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah.
She wasn't interesting. Do you think Robyn is interesting?
That's what I was going to say comparatively.
Robyn knows all the prices on QVC.
We know
That's most of the conversation at dinner.
comparison is the thief of joy, but I think it's a safe comparison that between Meri and Robyn, I think that the conversation is going to be more interesting with Meri.
I would have a drink with Meri. I would not have a drink with Robyn.
Never. Never, ever.
And not just based on like personality, like do I like this person going into it? Just would it be interesting?
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to Robyn talk about the tenders.
No, not at all. And Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol things, something that got damaged in shipping that she's still heartbroken over. I don't care. I really don't.
I don't care. It's okay if Meri yells at me because I gave her some spearmint gum and she doesn't like that.
I can handle that.
You know what? Get to know your wife.
Yeah, right? If you know that she doesn't like spearmint, then stop offering it.
Defend her. The Merisance.
It continues.
It's really, we're here for Meri.
And if that's your basis for divorce, Cody, that you offered spearmint gum and she got frustrated with you, I love that his reason was, I couldn't stand to live in this marriage where she was constantly angry with me. And it's like, that's what you did to the rest of your wives. You were constantly angry with them.
That's why Christine left.
That's why Christine left. That's why Janelle left. That's why Meri left. That's why all these other women left, because you were just constantly angry with them.
No, he completely lacks self-awareness of the situation.
Oh my gosh, because then he's tipping his hat to Robyn yet again.
She brought loyalty into the family.
Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty.
Even though Meri was the loyal wife. Remember when he made all the necklaces?
The dog collar that could have been for Meri.
You know what? That would have been some Dom shit.
It would have, yeah, but it wasn't.
It was not.
It was Fidelis.
The Fidelis necklace.
The
Never
Fidelis
forget.
heart. And yeah, it was almost, he wanted to do some sort of dog imagery because, again, in fundamental circles, the artistic representation of creative ways to kind of navigate things. It's a very Mariah Plath sort of lyrical.
Very literal.
Yes.
Did you see the sneak peek where Meri was introducing herself and one of the words that she used to describe herself was loyal? Actually, it was the first word she used to describe herself.
The only word that I would use to describe myself.
Oh, love the pettiness.
Well, it's just, yeah. And then this is where Cody is trying to circle this idea back again to where we've all just made choices along the way. That's where we've had our differences. Everybody's made their choices.
He made a lot of bad ones.
He doesn't really take responsibility for his choices necessarily, because then he's upset with other people's reactions to his choices. I think that's where that disconnect is happening. But he did have to say, well, I hope everyone's happy. He left off because I know I am, at least this time, because that was still such a dig from the last time when Meri, the breakup on Coyote Pass.
Man, we need to just get him talking about Meri because he says some really asshole things. He says
All
some
the time.
really off the cuff things.
Just terrible.
Why did we have weird scooter footage leading into going back to Flagstaff?
I don't know. Was that
It-
Aurora?
I've never seen something like that before on this show.
What was, yeah. There was a cactus, a very close up of a cactus at one point. Just a stationary shot of a cactus.
I'm not sure. They were getting experimental. I didn't enjoy it. So
Give me more donkey footage. Where's the donkey? He was in Vegas. So yeah, I guess. But Meri was in Vegas last episode. Give me the donkey.
what really happened at the end of this? It was just talking about Thanksgiving.
We
Logan and Michelle
circled-
are
yeah.
hosting Thanksgiving.
Well, and it's going to be, you're thinking about it, it's the Thanksgiving that's happening right after they got married. It's right after their wedding in October.
Which has not happened yet. That's the
Not
next
yet.
episode.
Yeah, they're still building to a nameless wedding.
Yeah, they're acting like we don't know whose
Whose-
wedding they went to.
We've known. It's okay.
I guess this whole point of this was just to illustrate the fact that like there really is no communication between Janelle and Cody because she didn't even ask him what he's doing for Thanksgiving. She doesn't care. He doesn't care what she's doing. They're just completely splitting on their own.
And they are nervous about Logan's wedding, even though they can't say that that's what it's going to be. They're worried about this family thing that's coming up later in October. It's the first time everyone's getting together since Isabel's graduation party, but not really, because we remember, we watched the show, guys.
Wait, what was it? for the goodbye, the awkward goodbye.
Yes, the awkward goodbye.
I mean, was that really a get together?
We had some other things. And then,
It was
well,
kind of a standoff.
we had McKelty's
Not
sprinkle.
everybody went to the sprinkle.
Not everybody.
The Robyn's kids were not at the sprinkle.
Robyn's kids, and then Janelle wasn't able to attend. So I guess that's what she's saying, is this is going to be the first time where like everybody's all back together.
Mm-hmm. And Robyn's kids, their feelings are still a little hurt.
Yeah, we had the text thread incident from last Christmas, the gift exchange blow up that
The
happened.
gift that keeps on giving. So we all know what happened. Robyn's kids lost their shit about the fact that they've never been included in the family. Everybody's against them.
Wrong.
No, they set a boundary.
Oh, no. And I'm just saying, like, their assessment of that.
Oh.
Incorrect.
Well, that's
but
also
okay.
not what Robyn thinks happened. They very politely said, "This is an emotionally unsafe conversation for me, and I'm going to stop. I'm going to disengage." In the words of Meredith Marks.
Meredith Marks is disengaging because, yeah, Robyn's trying to say that her kids put a boundary down. I think it was Robyn who jumped in and said stuff, though, based on that conversation.
I thought it was the girls.
Okay, well, I could be mistaken, but I think that was the weird part too, was because it was a text conversation that started with the kids because it's a sibling gift exchange.
Right.
And then Aurora and Brianna had looped in Robyn because mom has to get involved because we're doing stuff with siblings and mom needs to know. So
that was weird too.
That's when it got weird, was when Robyn got involved.
Yeah.
Because
why does she have to be in everything?
It's a conversation
She's in everybody's
with,
business.
Yes, it's a conversation with siblings. Let the siblings sort it out. No, we can't do that. We need mom and dad.
Well, she's like downplaying it now, that they just want to see everyone, even though they didn't come to the sprinkle. And from what we know, they seemingly haven't come to any family gatherings ever since.
Nothing. Yeah, it's radio silence on that side. And then Robyn's trying to say, oh, they put down a boundary. No, I don't think they did. Because remember what we were talking about in this episode? We're going to flashback, a sepia tone flashback for you, where we were talking about Maddie and Cody's relationship, where Maddie had set and established boundaries of how she wants her children to be treated by Cody. That was something that happened, and it led to a disconnect in their relationship. Now what we're talking about, Robyn's trying to say that her kids put down a boundary. I don't think they did. I think they said, don't make me feel bad. There's no control over that. In some situations,
my feelings are getting hurt.
My feelings are hurt. You're not safe. That's different. And that's a self-imposed thing where then you are removing yourself from this. So then to say that you're being excluded because you've removed yourself from a situation seems counterproductive at best.
I guess we'll find out how it went at the wedding. But my assumption is, because remember we saw the picture where it was Dab Sark all in the back row. You know, and everybody else was like in the front.
Further back. Yeah, it was further back in the family sections.
Just far away from everybody else.
Yeah, just keep them over there, over to the side.
I hope we get to hear more about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, Aurora and Brianna were confirming this stuff that not only in the text thread, but just for years, they have endured the rejection of the Brown family children, which Christine came with some receipts where, from her knowledge and her assessment, I'm pretty sure they were doing basically everything that they could to be as welcoming as possible.
Wait, this is confusing because McKelty was very close with Robyn and her kids. She lived with them. She was the nanny at one point.
Maddie was babysitting all the time too. When Robyn and Cody were dating, she would go down there.
Aspen lived with them when she was in college.
Yep.
And Isabel's very good friends. I'm going to call them friends.
Well, yeah, I mean, she has a close bond.
Yes, with Aurora and Brianna. They're all similar in age. So it's quite, I don't know why she left Gwen out, but Gwen was close to them too.
Gwen and Aurora were like BFFs for a good while there. And if I recall correctly, and someone can be sure to call this out if I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure that Gwen was saying that the reason why they stopped hanging out between Gwen and Aurora was because Aurora kept calling Gwen an alien. She's like an alien, which that seems like exclusive language that's sourced from Robyn's children, not anyone else in the family.
Who knows what the truth is here? That's their version of events. Christine even said truly had no idea that Aurora and Brianna were not her biological siblings.
No idea. No clue. So what does this mean for Cody? Because that's
that's what matters here.
That's the real reason for the season.
He got kicked out of his own club Because of people feeling morally superior. Morally superior or just superior? I think it was just superior.
I think he was just saying superior, but I think there are quite a few people who feel morally superior in this situation, but I don't think it's the people Cody thinks it is.
No, it's the ones he's formed an alliance with.
Right. Yeah.
Who feel superior to others.
His team is, and it's an us versus them mentality for everything.
Okay. When they were talking about how great it is to not have Cody as part of their lives anymore, and Janelle cited the fact that she can cook whatever the fuck she wants for dinner now.
She can kiss better than she cooks?
Because Cody had all of these, I don't know, like food allergies or something.
Whatever. Well, to be fair, I think this was where I gave Cody one instance of grace, because if I had to eat at Janelle's house too, I'd probably be coming up with some food allergies, so I could avoid a couple of dishes here and there. I'm just saying. We've mentioned this before. What were those dishes, Janelle? What were you making for dinner?
We've seen some of the things in action, and it's not always appetizing.
I can't say for sure, but I'm just saying I might have come up with a few ailments along the way as well.
I guess that tells us, though, that he's the one who claims to have the gluten allergy that they always have to have gluten-free things for.
Which Christine had to point out at McKelty's baby spritzer last episode, but she didn't want to tell Cody directly that there were gluten-free things. So she was just kind of yelling it generally in the kitchen to everyone. Yeah, that was pretty good.
And now Janelle's just living her life. She's happy with the independence she has. She would do plural marriage again.
At least at this point, which Christine was very disappointed to hear as well. But I think Christine has finally pieced together that, okay, the reason why Janelle is still talking to Cody, though, is because of the connection to the land. I think that makes more sense, and we have that kind of reined in. That's the reason.
Can we stop asking her then if she's left him?
Please leave her alone.
I don't want to see another one of these conversations between these two.
Leave Janelle alone.
Do you think that plural marriage is really something that would work for Janelle again, or is it just because she didn't have a good relationship with her first marriage, her second marriage?
Well, yes, technically, that's why she doesn't like the term divorce. She's lived with that for a while,
been there, done that.
She's just calling it. She's not with her kid's dad anymore, so that's a fun way around it. Sure, okay, if that works for you, go for it.
It's like too many words for me.
That's way too much to say. You can't put that on a form. Come on. So yeah, I think it's just going to be, I don't think that polygamy was what she liked. And I think she's attributing a lot of the independence that she had because she was operating basically like a single mother. So if that's kind of what your experience already is, then you can just keep doing that. You could just date other people. You don't need to marry anybody else. If you want that independence, don't live with them. Just date.
You can also find someone that you don't find annoying.
Have dates.
You know, someone who's dramatic, who makes you adapt all of your food around their fake food allergies. Like, you can find someone who you enjoy spending time with and you have mutual interests, and you might not want them to leave as much.
Well, that could be, a game changer, I think, when it comes to Janelle and relationships.
But for now, she will just see that old life of hers off in the distance, kind of a safe, trauma-based different distance.
Like an out-of-body experience, a third-person view.
A little disassociated.
Watching what's happening outside of herself. Yeah, please go to therapy. Okay. We're just going to say it again.
Next episode. After reuniting at a wedding, Cody describes the family dynamic as a total civil war. Christine and Robyn reunite in the waiting room as McKelty welcomes her twins via C-section. At a game night with Robyn and her kids, Cody reflects on his 3 failed marriages.
See, my summary for the next episode was the 3 C's. It's Civil War, C-section, and it's serving... Never mind. No, it's okay. I can't.
I would love for you to say it. I know our listeners in the UK would love it
would
too,
appreciate it, but
I'm pretty sure this would get pulled from everywhere that we
public
distribute
feed.
This podcast.
It's going on YouTube now, so we got to be careful.
I'm looking forward to seeing footage inside of the Shira Chateau. What game do you think they're going to play?
That's what I want. That's what I need to know. I know they're not playing D&D though, because they would have to have Gabe come over to be the DM, and I don't think he's going to do that for free.
Thank you for listening. If you want to support us, the best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Be sure to chat with us about the episode on our Discord channel by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod.
Stay tuned, share with friends. See you next time.